Well, I got a bourbon date with the dads. Is it just dads only, or is it parents? All the parents are invited to this
All
bourbon
the
thing.
parents are mandatory. Yep.
All right. So our
Wait,
kids.
Just one
mandatory
one parent. So you go. I'm not going.
All right. So
mandatory bourbon date? Like the Catholic Church is like asking you guys to go drink?
well,
Is that
Like
first
a
of
flyer.
all,
Catholics
they're
drink.
just well,
No,
yeah,
I know they
that
do, but I'm like,
these
this
are
Oh yeah.
Jesuits. These are Jesuits, by the way. I imagine that they drink. These are soldiers. For these are like,
Sure. No,
you know,
these parents are not soldiers.
right? All right.
They're just parents.
So I'll
love
tell you
it.
guys. I'll tell you guys what's going on, right? So our son, he's on the crew team. You guys know that, right? And the thing is, over the years, parents have become less and less involved. So now they're ringing the alarm bells. It's like, hey, if you want your kid to be on the team, the parents are a part of the team too, and you guys got to do more stuff. And when they mean what they mean by stuff is like, repairing the boats or painting the shed where the boats are housed. Just various things. Maybe fundraisers. I mean, we pay a decent amount of dues to hopefully not have to do that stuff. But I guess they want more boots on the ground, so to speak. Right? They need just more hands. I'm like, you got like 20 some teenagers. Go ahead and use them for labor, for crying out loud. But they want the parents to be a little bit more involved. So I think that's what the emergency meeting is about tonight. And they're kind of trying to coax us with some bourbon. They're telling us it's a bourbon night by the campfire. Actually, they didn't even tell us it was a meeting. They just told us there was going to be bourbon there and that campfire. And I was like, all right, I'll go. And then now they're saying there's a meeting. There's an emergency meeting. So I was like,
You
all
know
right,
what's gonna
well.
happen? You're gonna show up. They're gonna have paint rollers. They're gonna hand out paint rollers, a bucket of paint, and be like, "Listen, you gotta start over there."
Swipe your credit card. Yep.
So what are you guys up to? What are the Molinas up to?
A lot of working, a lot of consults.
Yeah,
It's been
bunch of sessions as
busy.
well. Yeah, like it's starting to pick up for us from the engagement side of things. Everyone wants to get their engagement session now that the weather is nice and a couple of weddings coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just starting to get back into the swing of things.
Thankfully, inquiries are flowing in. So we had like 3 or 4 meetings in the past week.
What are you talking about?
Doing good.
Haven't you read on the internet? The economy is slow, and no one's got any bookings or anything like that. You're telling me you got appointments and stuff?
We do.
I think I think for the most part that is true, like all across the industry, because even venues have told us that they're down, like typically more than a little less than what they normally see.
Yep.
So it's happening. But luckily for us, like we're actually shooting more weddings this year than last.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Us
which is good.
too. Yep, us too.
Really? Very interesting. Well, I was just messing around. I was kidding because I know that there are people who are struggling out there. This is not to dismiss what they're feeling, what they're experiencing.
Yeah.
There is, I will say though, there's a very high saturation right now. There's even more so than before because during COVID, you had all these folks coming out of the woodwork to become photographers, right? So we're working in an environment that there's just more saturation, just more competition. And I think a lot of the people who are struggling, they came out right around that time, and they never. My personal feeling is that they built their business from the ground up, but the getting was easy. You could have had a terrible portfolio, terrible business practices, and you still could have been okay. You still would have ended up okay during that time. And really, you just got lucky. You didn't really have to work on your marketing to do really well. But what do you think are people struggling with if they were, if they're not getting the inquiries and if they're not? I'll let you guys go first, and I have my feelings on this too. But what do you think is holding people back?
I think a lot of people don't take the step approach on all different kinds of marketing, and like you said, they may have came in during a great time. So like just posting on Instagram every now and then would get you work because there was so much to go around. But now everyone was focusing on one thing and hasn't taken a multifaceted approach between like you've been talking about networking, social media, what else? Vendor referrals, client referrals, and the client experience that kind of brings people in for referrals. So sneak peek of my talk next week is a lot about how to nurture your current clients, get the word out, and kind of have them become your raving fans and bringing you in more work. I think a lot of people came in, did a lot of the weddings that came in so quickly and didn't really learn how to nurture their clients or their connections with other vendors and venues. So now they're kind of stuck in that little huddle for that.
But that's still all very, very much marketing talk. as I'm doing a little coaching on this side, as you guys know, right? So what I've also found is that sometimes the portfolio is not all there yet. A lot of the work that they're showing is not necessarily like uncompetitive, but it doesn't really stand out. It's just kind of blending in with the noise. But but I do feel that it's important to curate a portfolio that's unique to you, that's special to you. Even if you've been to a venue like a billion times, like many of us have, but if you can somehow make it special and unique, not just to your clients, but also in the space where you're working, I think that does count for something in this marketplace, on top of the marketing, the social media, and the blogging and all that kind of stuff. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
I agree. I feel like right now when you scroll through Instagram, everything looks the same. Like there's a certain style that the algorithm is just feeding you, and everyone just when I think I'm starting to learn the new photographers in our area, it's somebody else that I've never heard of. So like it's so oversaturated and everything looks the same and the price is probably different. So how can you stand out in your own market by doing something different? It's crazy. Like I'm telling you, everything I see, even the ads I'm getting, it's all the same style, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, on that note, are you guys ready to introduce our guest? All right. All right, guys, welcome to the Focus AF podcast. My name is Ben.
I'm Karis.
This is Jen.
And this is Ro.
And I'm actually pretty focused AF today. How about you guys?
Very.
Yeah, Karis she just
I'm
woke up.
there.
She just woke up AF. She just woke up AF. Rolled out of bed AF.
I literally did, and then I got my eyeliner tattoo removed this Monday. So yeah, my eyes are swollen. So yep, and they're very like aqua pore, like very oily right now.
I could definitely picture
I was like,
Karis.
should I come on with my sunglasses? But I was like,
Did you do that one time?
She came out with a mask.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a hat and everything.
Oh.
With Sam, when you had your chemical peel and then you had.
Oh yes.
Karis don't give a AF.
I could definitely picture her like putting her alarm, taking the cucumbers off, and then just putting the headphones on to go on. All
right. Let's stay on track, guys. Stay on track. We haven't introduced our guest yet. Right. So let me tell you how I came across this photographer in my life. So he's actually been in my orbit for many years, many years. And I think the first time I encountered him was probably in Vegas. He didn't know this, but like I was walking by one of his photo walks, and I was like, "What the hell is this guy doing in the closet?" Right? we have all of Vegas, we have all of this space, and this guy's in a closet somewhere. He's like scrunched up in a closet somewhere. I honestly, to this day, I don't know what those photos look like. I imagine they're amazing, but I'm like, meanwhile, you have all these other photographers doing their photo walks. They're going all over the place, right? But this guy's in the closet somewhere. I was like, all right, mental note, I can remember who this guy is, right? Fast forward to, I guess, more recently, we were stranded together at another conference where we had nothing to do, so we just spent, I don't know, a whole week just drinking. so that is my experience with this photographer. How about you guys?
Well, according to you, we just met him via email. Tell the story, just because we definitely hung out together in Vegas in this past month.
Together, yeah, we were all in the same.
When you say us, it's like me too. I was in that party too, But I have a memory of a goldfish, apparently. Not apparently, definitely. Yeah.
No, you met him first, no?
Yeah, we were with you. It was at Camp Reset. It was a workshop that, shout out to Jay Casario. Mm-hmm. He hosted a workshop, and it was Jay, Jason, and Bud, right? Bud Johnson from Georgia, I believe. So this was the second year that Jay was doing this workshop, and I attended the first one, which was awesome. It was more like a retreat. Everyone's hanging out and shooting and learning. And he had Jason on this second like the second go round of the second version of this workshop, and it was awesome. Jen tagged along for this one, and we got to hang out with Jason for a few days, and we also got to learn from him and see how his mind works, which is out of this world, the stuff that he creates out of nothing. But yeah,
were there any closets? Were there any closets involved
no,
in this retreat?
We were out in the open, like open woods, if I remember correctly. There was no like architecture; it was just straight. I remember there's like a waterfall, right? Waterfall, some like little river, but it was just woods for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, without further ado, I'd like to welcome Jason Vinson to the podcast. Welcome, Jason.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
That was a long intro. It was like almost 15 minutes long. Jeez.
I've been on this call for 30 minutes, and this is my first time I'm able to talk.
His 5 o'clock shadow is now a 10 o'clock shadow.
We did forget to mention that Jason is fearless #1 photographer in North America, right?
Is he?
Oh, look
Yeah,
at that.
not sure.
Look at that. We are in great company right now.
I also love we talked about portfolio and how to stand out, and I think this setup right now is a perfect example.
Yeah, it's great.
I feel so inadequate right now. Like I never felt so inadequate before, you know? Oh my goodness. But anyway, so tell us, for those of us listeners who have been living under a rock for however long, why don't you tell our listeners who you are, where you're from, how long you've been doing this? Tell us all the things.
Okay. Yeah. So name's Jason Vinson. Go by Vinson Images _Jason on Instagram. Let's see. Been doing professional photography since 2010. Full time since 2017. Started off as a husband and wife team, and still are a husband and wife team. Just whenever we started having kids, my wife kind of took a little step back, and then another kid, and she took another step back, and the third kid, she was like, "I'm done shooting weddings." She still jumps in every once in a while, and then she's still a massive help on all things business. She does all the accounting and taxes, and she sends me text messages been like, "Hey, you need to reply to this email. Did you reply to this email? You need to do this." And so I am very much an employee, and she is the business owner.
Very similar to the Molinas, actually, I think.
Yes. 100%.
Actually, it's kind of similar to the Laos as well. I just show up to things like my VA and my wife sometimes. They just put stuff on the calendar, and I just show up. They tell me what to do. My name on the logo really doesn't mean anything. There's really actually other people running my life, you know? So tell us about your journey as a wedding photographer. I don't know if you've shot other genres before, but as far as most of us know you as a wedding photographer, was there a point in your journey where, you know, maybe you were just going with the motions, trying to figure things out, and then eventually you kind of found your voice or found your I guess the flavor that of photography that you wanted to pursue a little bit more?
Yeah. So whenever we first started, it was in 2010. Me and my wife got like a decent camera to take on our honeymoon. We got back, shared images on Facebook, as one does. And then one of my wife's friends reached out and was like, "Hey, love your honeymoon photos. Do you want to take our family photos?" And so we were like, sure, that could be kind of fun. So we did that. Just had one camera, one kit lens. And so like I would take some photos, hand the camera to my wife. She would take some photos. She would give it back. And so like as she's shooting, I'm getting an idea. As I'm shooting, she's getting an idea. And we did that for a while. And then eventually someone asked us to shoot their wedding. So prior to that, we were just doing like family sessions, little toddler sessions, stuff like that. And then this wedding inquiry came in from another one of my wife's friends. And we were like, hold on a second. Like, this is a little bit more higher stakes. There's more stuff going on. There's not as much room for failure and stuff. And so we gave them all the warnings that you do to a first-time wedding client of like, I've never done this before, things like that, like basically tried to talk them out of it. And they still wanted us to do it. And so we decided that if we were going to do this, we're going to like kind of go all in and make this like a legitimate side hustle. And so I think we charged them like $500 to shoot the wedding, and we maybe spent like $4,000 or $5,000 on new cameras and lenses and lights and all this stuff. shot the wedding, and I just remember getting to the car and both of us being like, that was super hectic. It was stressful, but I loved it. I loved the problem solving, the working on the fly, the having to just kind of go with the flow. And so I think I was basically kind of instantly hooked on weddings. I'd enjoyed all the other stuff that I had done, but weddings was kind of like that one niche that really pulled me in. And so from there, we just started shooting a lot more weddings and did that for a long time until 2017. It was just strictly a side hustle. So at the time I was a mechanical engineer working full time. My wife was working full time for a family company. And then in 2017, I had the opportunity to go to India for 2 weeks for an all expenses paid trip to go document the Holi Festival at the time. And I still am a writer for the blog fstoppers.com. And so as part of that, there was a company that wanted to fly me out to India to do like an interview journalism type thing for a post-production company. And as part of that, they're going to send me and another journalist to the Holi Festival and all kinds of stuff. And at the time, I was using all my vacation days for destination weddings and things like that. And so I didn't have any vacation days to go on this trip. So I went to my boss. I asked for time off without pay. They told me no. And so I put in my 2 weeks notice 2 weeks before my flight left to India. And I've been full-time ever since.
Wow.
Jumping off the deep end, man. How reckless can you be, Jason? How reckless? how many kids at that point? How many?
Zero.
Kids?
So
okay.
The time, so this is a crazy year. So 2017 is the year that I quit my full-time job and went full-time in wedding photography. And at the same time, when I flew to India, it was earlier in the year. My wife was in the process of doing our first round of IVF. Because all three of our kids are IVF babies. And so like she was having to do like the injections and all that stuff by herself while I was gone. And then got back home. And then within that year, we had our first son, or our first kid, which is our only son.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. You're starting a business and a family at the same time. Yeah. Are you out of your mind?
We moved in that year as well.
Oh my gosh. Triple threat. Oh my goodness. So for $500 you can get 8 Moses cruises, but actually you went negative. You went negative. So it's negative. You said 5,000, so negative 4,500. So we do the reverse of that. So it's like negative 7 Moses cruises, negative 7.5 Moses cruises. So dirty. When you do the graph, it's got to be negative 7.5 Moses cruises.
Go the opposite way.
You have to go the opposite way because Jason actually lost money on his first gig.
I thought that's how this art thing worked. I didn't think you were supposed to make money.
That's so true.
How long was that first wedding day? Like, was it a full day thing?
Yeah, full day.
Oh my goodness! Like full day as it truly means full day, or full day as some photographers like to say, oh, 8 hours is full day. Right, full day.
It was like I don't really remember, and at the time we didn't even know what a full day was. Like that was our first wedding, so I mean, we got there when she started getting ready. They did prep, ceremony, and then a full reception. So it was probably 8 to 10 hours.
Yeah, full day. For sometimes, you show up when the orange juice and the bagels show up. We used to do full day. I don't know about you, Molinas, right? When we first started, I was like, I need to be super competitive with my package. So everyone's getting full day coverage. Everyone's getting like a 6-hour engagement session. And sometimes the grooms are like, do we really need 6 hours of an engagement session? I was like, yes, you do, right? And I was giving like prints of everything in color, everything in black and white, and you're getting prints of everything. So I would send out these huge boxes. It would cost me like $100 to ship all these prints to the clients. And I would get these prints from Costco and whatnot. But yeah, I was super generous with all that stuff. And then
all that $2,000.
Yeah.
My first gig was $600, and then after that yeah, you're right. It's a little south of 2,000 for a little while, but yeah, I barely made any money. But yeah, it was what I found out was like when I showed up when the bagels and the orange juice showed up, it was like everyone's running for the hills when my camera comes out. They're like, we don't want pictures of us eating bagels. But
with
there
no
might have been other
makeup
stuff.
and hair's a mess and
Yeah, we don't want you near us right now, so whatever. All right. I know this is a question that gets, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. So I always have a hard time answering this question when brides ask us this. Like, how would you describe your style? You know, like for me, I just tell them, hey, just look at my portfolio. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. But like, I don't know how to put it into words exactly how to describe my style. So how would you describe your style, Jason?
I usually go with bold and authentic moments with epic portraits.
What does epic? Yeah,
That's my
very.
one-liner.
I mean, check out this camera setup. Like, come on.
Do you need to interview me any longer? Like
Yeah.
on this consult, you see my setup already. I will say though, like it does make a difference when you're meeting with clients and stuff, and you have like a killer setup. It does. It's a conversation starter. I think it is anyway.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad Jen is listening to this because we show up looking like raccoons.
That's the eye roll.
Yeah, it's like so dark. We're all grainy.
See, this is why I can't talk to Melinas about spending money, or saving money. You guys are the worst when it comes to, not spending money. He's just looking for a reason to spend money.
So, Jason, is that how your style began, or kind of like how you evolved? Like, what was your first work like? Like we all know.
Oh, terrible! It was bad. Yeah, but even at the very beginning, like I was still interested and intrigued with off-camera flash and stuff like that. Like I already had, like the Einstein light with the big softbox and the battery pack and stuff like that. And I didn't know how to actually light, but I could make the light go off when I wanted to. But I was still very interested in that style and being able to like take control and stuff. But from there, it's always just been a constant evolution. Like I didn't just like all of a sudden fall into the way that I shoot now. It's always been like, you do a session and you kind of like, you see something, you're like, oh, I like that. I want to do more of that. And then the next time you do it a little bit more, and then you're like, oh, I did this. I don't really like that. And then you dial it back and then you do a little bit more and you kind of wind down the road. And eventually you kind of find your style. I also like coming up when I was, trying to figure out, and I didn't even know that this is what I was doing, but I was basically trying to figure out what my style was. But what I was doing is I was looking at other people's work that I liked and figuring out how to do that. And then I would do it. And then I would figure out a way to put some type of little twist on it to make it my own. And what I would do is I would take little pieces of, all these different photographers and meld them together into something that was my own voice.
Who were your like photo inspiration at the time?
At the time, like I was big into the fearless photographers community. So the people like, Ben and Aaron Chrisman, Mauricio with Chrisman Studios, Lanny and Erica from Two Man Studios, Fairwood Easty, Jeff Newsom, Sam Hurd, Zach Arias, who's not in that community, but he was
he's
on YouTube and like the one light workshops and stuff like that. Yeah. So I loved his stuff. Joe McNally, just crazy off-camera flash work. Those are probably kind of like the main big hitters as I was like first dipping my toes into kind of learning how to do things. Yeah.
Yeah. So really just exposing yourself to, some of your photography heroes, just following them, just studying their work a little bit, and then trial and error while you're out there in the field. So,
yeah. And not just like looking at the work, but like seriously asking yourself, what is it about this that I like? Because it's easy to, scroll through Instagram and see a photo and be like, oh, I like that. You give it a double tap and then you scroll on. But if you can like sit on it for a minute and be like, what is it do I like about this? And then how could I implement this into my own work? Do I love the minimalism? Do I love how complex it is? Do I love the lighting? What about the lighting do I like? Is it the direction? Is it the color? Is it the texture? And so you can break down an image a little bit more than be like, oh, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Some good tips right there.
Mm-hmm. Then you're gonna scroll on Instagram.
No, it's true because we're all guilty of like looking at images and not really soaking it in. We're just like, this is awesome. We double tap and keep it moving, right? Yep. But if you actually like just take a couple of more seconds and just dissect the image, that's how you learn.
Mm-hmm. Did you have any mentors that went over your work a little bit to help you kind of level up, or everything was literally just on your own? You just doing everything on your own?
For the most part, all on my own. Like towards the end of 2016 into 2017, I was big into like trying to get a lot better at the documentary side of things. And so I went to a foundation workshop. Have you heard of foundation workshop?
Yep, of course.
They still have it now. They just revamped it and it's going on in Kansas. But at the time it was in Texas. And so I went to foundation workshop, and there they actually like someone critiques you. Like they look at every single image that you take and they critique like your approach and not just like an individual image, which was very helpful for me. And this was actually at a really good time because it was, I think, a few weeks before I went to India. And so I went to this foundation workshop and really kind of honed in or learned a lot about, you know, documentary moments and how to wait for moments and things like that. And then I went to India for 2 weeks and I just did basically street photography for 2 straight weeks. And so I really kind of got to put into practice very quickly and in depth the things that I've learned. And since then, like before that, I had submitted stuff for critiques, and afterwards, I've submitted stuff for critiques here and there. But yeah, I wish critiques was a bigger part of people's learning experience. It's really hard to be like vulnerable and have someone like look at your work in that type of way and be in a mental headspace where you can accept the criticism, which is kind of one of the things that I liked about foundation workshop, is because you're in a team, and yes, you get your images critiqued and you get to see all of the things that you're doing wrong or could do better. But you also get to see every one of your teammates get critiqued as well. And so you can almost learn a little bit more from the criticisms when you're removed from like actually taking the photo, if that makes sense.
Right. It's definitely something that I've discussed before. You know, as artists, we're very close to the baby, and it's, you know, we try to critique ourselves. We try to, you know, do some CC on our own work, but it's, you know, it's different because we don't necessarily see our blind spots. That's the whole definition of a blind spot. You don't know that it's there. You know, it's always good to have another set of eyes to take a look at it and tell you what your blind spots might be. And at the end of the day, we just want to get better at what we do. At least I hope that's the goal for most of us. You know, we want to get better at what we do, and having a community kind of help us along. I think that's a huge part of it. One of the things that kind of grinds my gears a little bit is that when people submit their stuff for critiques in these like Facebook groups and stuff like that, they're like, oh, please be gentle, please be kind when you're going through my work. I don't want you to be kind. I want you to tell me the truth. You know, tell me what really needs work, because if you're gentle with me and I'm not, you know, I might not get the message, you know?
Yeah. And I think the biggest problem with this whole, like, you know, putting some images online and asking people to critique is that the people that are critiquing often aren't in a space where like they don't have the authority to give the criticism that they're giving. Like, right. I see this a lot, especially on like people leaving comments of like criticism and stuff. And then, you know, you'll give a reply and they'll be like, oh, you obviously don't take criticism very well. And it's like, well, I'm clicking on your profile and I can see that you don't actually know what you're talking about. Like there's one thing for, you know, someone that
I think this is one of your slides. I've been in your presentations several. It's like someone leaving you comments about like you don't know what you're doing or something about what you're shooting. I think it's one of your slides. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
I do have a slide that's literally just like 50 hate comments of people commenting on my work, calling it garbage, and yeah.
Well, such is the price when you're when you got 120,000 followers. You know, I mean, 50 is not so. 50. Did you break 120? Was it one? I think you're very close to hitting another milestone or something like that when we last spoke.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't looked at it.
Yeah, but like 50, it's not that. It's not. You know, you're gonna get some haters once you get to a certain point. You know.
Yeah, you're opening up to the general public when you're posting on like Facebook and like, hey, CC, and there's just people who love to troll and just like they just go on there to talk shit. So like,
yeah, exactly.
That be more of a closed community like Foundation or Icon Awards or some other kind of closed circle of people that you know are actively working and actively putting in the work. So,
yep.
I was going to say that there's a jerk in South Jersey and in our local group that's always critiquing, and his work is just terrible. And he's always the first one to like dissect someone's stuff.
It's always that person. Yep.
But is he busy though? Is he a working photographer? Is he one of the complainers that say that the economy is slow?
Oh, I mean, I've never seen him complain, but he's always one that's like, he's always trying to blame someone for their own issues. He's first to like kind of say you should look at yourself type thing, and he's just a jerk off. That's
You tell us that you started in 2017, but you actually started a little before that, right? But 2017 is
Yes,
when you
it
started.
Started in 2010, went full time in 2017.
Right. And then how long after that did you start teaching? Did you feel like, all right, well, I think I can help some folks with this?
2018, I believe.
Oh, a year later.
Is when, and I mean, honestly, the reason how I got started is that I had a bunch of friends going to WPPI, and I was like, oh, I really want to go, but I don't want to pay to go. And I had through some of the stuff that I've done with F-stoppers, I've made some decent connections, and one of them had recently moved from Creative Live over to managing WPPI, and so I had kept in contact with her a little bit, and so I just sent her an email, and I was like, hey, just checking in. I was seeing if you needed any help or need any educators for this. And she's like, oh, I could bring you in as someone to lead a photo walk. And so it's like, yeah, I could lead a photo walk. So first time I went was so that I could basically hang out with my friends, taught a photo walk. It went really well. I love the images that I got from that. And then since then I got brought back for additional photo walks. And then it went to photo walks and seminars. And now I go and I teach a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Packed schedule.
Yeah, I remember one year I ran into you. I think you had like 6, 7. It was the year like after COVID, I think, where people didn't make it.
Yeah.
And they were like, "You want to do another photo walk?" You were like, "I'm here, right? I'll take it." I think you had like 6 photo
like
walks.
I'm away from my family. I'm there. Like, put me to work. Like, I don't want to. There's people that are there for the whole week and they do like one photo walk or one seminar or something like that. It's like, no, I'm here for 5 days. Like. They're like, you're so busy. It's like, it feels like it sounds like I'm busy, but I'm doing like 2 things a day. Like, that's not really that busy.
Yeah.
And you enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I really like it. Yeah.
Yeah. For a lot of folks, it's like spring break for photographers. They said they're going to go play and hang out with people, you know?
Which I mean,
some people are there for learning.
I don't do that, but.
What happened?
You have a good balance.
I'm not saying I don't enjoy it and go on my little spring break moments, but I also want to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we saw you at a couple of parties. Now I remember that we were together at some parties.
Obviously, you had more fun at those parties than I did.
We saw him almost every night here and there.
Sorry. I'm the worst. I am the absolute worst.
So
now I know how memorable I am to you. That hurts my heart a little bit, but that's fine. I'll get over it.
Go ahead, Jen.
I was going to ask about the photo walks, like, because have you attended any?
Not this year, but yeah, I've done photo walks in the past. Yeah.
So how do you feel about photo walks, and like, just give it that whole background on photo walks and how you feel about them?
So I really love them. I think there's people that do them very well, and then I think there's people that do them not very well.
What makes them effective? What makes them effective and not effective? What makes them good and not good?
I mean, I think a good judge of how good a photo walk goes is if the person leading the photo walk shares any of the images that they took from the photo walk. And if they don't share any images, then it probably didn't go very well. I think there's people that spend 2 hours going over just like a simple lighting setup, and then, you know, everyone just kind of hangs around and talks. And to me, that's kind of
not as effective. Right.
Yeah. The reason why I really love doing photo walks is because I treat them like a regular session. So I go into them not knowing what I'm going to do. I don't have any plans of lighting setups or locations that I'm going to shoot. We just we meet, we walk outside, and then I just explain what I'm drawn to, why I want to go over here, what I'm looking for, what my plan is. And really the goal of these going about it this way is that I want people to see me fail. Like, the goal isn't just to like create amazing portfolio images and show people how awesome I am. The goal is to show that sometimes the good images come from the failures, or, you know, sometimes you have an idea for something and it turns into something else, but then also just to kind of walk through what the mental process is of why I'm going to one location over the other. Why am I setting up a light versus not setting up a light? Why is it up tall versus down low? Why is it behind them? All those little things that can get missed if you just go into it knowing like a full plan of what you're going to do, and you just go set up everything and you shoot a portfolio image and show people how awesome you are.
Yeah, I think the education on that is so much more valuable. And why I asked that question is because I've seen and heard some photo walks where I think the attendees are just more focused on
taking the images,
and not
building
really listening to
portfolio.
the instructor.
Yeah.
So the instructor might just kind of feel defeated and just be like, all right, and just stand around and let people just shoot and
I've seen that.
do whatever they need to do.
Yeah,
But I feel
and
like when I've seen you
I've totally
take a
seen that. And I learned really quickly that, so when I start my photo walks is that I very quickly just set the expectations of like, this is a demo. So the point of this is for you to watch me shoot and ask questions and learn. I will give you time to shoot while other people are asking questions. So I'll do a setup, show everybody what I got, how I got it. Everybody can ask questions, and as people are asking questions, other people can shoot. So I'll give people time to shoot, but that's kind of like the result of what we're doing. It's not like the point of what we're doing.
It's a secondary thing.
Like in addition to.
Right. Because I've seen photo walks where you got like one couple, maybe two, but usually it's one couple, and then you got like, I don't know, like 10 or 15 attendees trying to shoot the same thing and directing at the same time. It becomes like a free-for-all, right?
Yeah.
And it just becomes chaos. I do like the idea of having the instructor like, hey, listen, just watch what I do, okay? I don't want this to be a free-for-all. Just watch what I do, and like we'll have an opportunity to do all this, but watch what I do first. Don't just go do the free-for-all thing. The other thing was that at my very first photo walk that I attended, it was like back in 2014, and the photographer, the one who was teaching the workshop, had like, I don't know, 3 couples, right? But they were all models, professional models and stuff. And what I found was like, I didn't really have to do any work. You know, the models were doing all the work for us. And I feel like it's almost like on easy mode once you get to that point. You know, you get some good light, and the model's doing all the work for you. You know, you still have to compose a little bit, but I don't know how, you know, in a real life situation, let's say you have a photographer who's just starting out and they've gone on all these workshops where the model's doing all the work for these photo walks. Like, I don't know how this helps the student. You know what I mean? I don't know if you agree or disagree with how I'm feeling on this.
It doesn't help because you're not going to go to a session the next day and be like, hey, just why are you not posing? What do the thing? Like, move around.
Yeah, I'm not getting the same result. So that's also becomes a little problematic. So that's why, you know, when I have hosted photo walks, and Rolando, you're going to do one before the year's out, okay? Rolando, you're going to host a photo walk before the year's out, okay?
Sure.
But I always try to find real couples, like people who are not professional models, and that way we can get all the awkward body language, and it's your job as a photographer to make them not look awkward. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Karis has been awfully
actually,
quiet.
now that we're talking about this, so let's say you're doing a photo walk. Like, what do you prefer? You prefer to have a location that's not beautiful, that doesn't have eye candy, or would you rather do a photo walk in, you know, like a prime location that's just, no matter where you go, you could just create beautiful images? In the WPPI group, one of the complaints this year was that the Rio does not have a lot of places to do photo walks and to, you know, find nice locations, and all the photo walks are pretty much like fighting with each other to like use the same spot and stuff.
The one palm tree there.
Right. And for me, I feel like that is kind of a better scenario, because usually we're not fortunate to have these beautiful locations all the time. So if you can learn and see someone create some amazing stuff and just like, you know, in a location that you don't think is good enough, right? I feel like you learn more from that. But people were complaining that they want WPPI to like move so they can have better locations for photo walks and stuff like that. And I was just, and I feel that's the wrong approach, because now, like we were just talking, people just want to go and create portfolio images, and they just want to be spoon fed the images so they could create their portfolio. And I feel that's the wrong way to go about it. You're not going to learn much from that.
Yeah, I agree. For the learning aspect, like, I mean, I love shooting in a pretty and epic location like everybody else, but as far as like goes, it's better to be in an area that is challenging, that, you know, shooting at the Rio is basically like shooting at every other convention hall that hosts weddings, right? Like, it's just a hotel. And so if you can shoot there, then you can shoot at any hotel. And that's the goal. It's to find, and there's pictures from the Rio that I've taken at photo walks that I absolutely love. They're in locations that people would never traditionally go to or look for or even notice. But that's the point, right? Is to learn how to notice those, those hidden gems in a location that at surface level isn't very good looking. But if you can look a little deeper, or you can look for interesting elements, you can make some epic work out of it.
And being the way that you shoot the way you shoot, and you can shoot the Rio and make it look amazing, do you find it challenging when you're teaching students? Because of course they kind of want to see the way you see, but they can't.
They're not you.
Yeah. So how is that is that like a hurdle for you when you're teaching?
No, well, because I'm literally walking through the steps of like, I see this over here. This is what I have in mind. Let's go see if it's going to work. We get there and be like, oh, it's not really going to work. They heard what my initial idea was, and then I'm going to walk through what we're going to do now, or I'm going to walk through why I'm not going to do something here. We're going to go somewhere else. So that's kind of the baby steps of learning how to see. Like I didn't just like pick up a camera and see the way that I see. It's a skill that I've very intentionally trained myself to know how to do. It's like walking, right? You have to crawl before you can walk.
So when you first started shooting, were you saying you trained yourself? So of course you weren't seeing that way. What kind of, I know you did foundation, you're seeing other people's work, but was there anything else that kind of helped move you in that direction to see the way you see?
Yeah, especially when it comes to working with off-camera flash and stuff. Kind of, I mentioned this a little bit earlier, like the technical aspects of learning how to get my light to work came fairly easy. My background's in mechanical engineering, so like I understood like the technical aspect. But as far as like knowing where to put the light, like how to modify the light and all that stuff, I didn't really understand how to get something interesting out of it. And so I developed this thing. I call it seeing the light. I talk about this a lot. I've never heard anybody else that has done this before, but basically I would just go through everyday life looking for interesting light. Whenever I would see light that I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting light, I would ask myself, what's causing that light? Why is it interesting? Get down, you like look and see where the light's coming from. Why is it shining the way that it is? And then I ask myself, if that light was no longer there, how would I recreate that light with flash? So if it's like the sun coming through a window, well, you look at the angle and be like, oh, I would need a flash outside at about this height coming through the window. Or if it's reflecting off of a mirror or coming through the door crack or whatever. And then I would, like at the beginning, then I would actually go through the steps. And, 2 hours later, when the sun's at a different angle, I would go and I would put a flash there and I would recreate that light. And then from there, I asked myself, now that I've recreated this light, how can I do something to make it a little bit more different? Can I put it at a little bit harsher of an angle? Can I put a gel on it? Can I put another flash up? Now, what you're doing is you're developing a set of tools. So when you walk into a room, like most photographers walk into a room and they're looking for the good light and the good compositions. And a lot of the times, the good light doesn't line up with a good composition. And so now when I walk into a room, I'm looking for good light, good compositions, and then the potential for good light and where those good lighting potential elements or whatever line up with a good composition.
Mm-hmm.
So you almost walk into a room and you're Neo from the Matrix and you're like seeing all the code, right?
I've always like tried like those scenarios, like like making my own daylight, like putting up like flash outside the window, and never. That's just practice, but like, yeah, I see what you're saying. Like, if we can, like, 'cause they do this in movies. Like, movies recreates the sun depending on what the setting calls and stuff like that. So, if as a photographer, if you have that in your bag, you could pretty much shoot anywhere, and any type of light you want, you can just recreate it whenever. Which I feel like a lot of photographers lack. Everyone looks for the window, including us. We just look for the nice soft light in the window and just go to town.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and a lot of people, they find nice light and they use it, but the composition is terrible. But they're like, "Oh, this is great because the lighting is great," right? But for me, like composition and lighting, they go hand in hand. Like if I have you can have kind of an okay composition if you have really pretty light, but ideally you want really good light and a really good composition.
Yeah. OCF, actually, on camera light with a grid, direct flash. That's how the bills get paid, right?
Right. Right now, if you want to be a trending photographer,
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, just get the what's the 8100 in your hand.
80. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. I've seen photographers with the 8100 hanging off of their whole fast, so they just like pick it up.
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
Have you seen? I think they have backpacks and stuff. They'll just have a flash just following you around. You just put it in your back and it just facing
I need
forward.
the least amount of things as possible.
if you want to look absolutely ridiculous, you can totally.
No, but I like what you're saying, because I feel like the longer you're in this game, like the more you go into a wedding day trying to keep things as easy and as simple as possible and as safe, because you just want the day to go quick, smooth. But more lately, I've been trying to look for more different light, because like you said, once we go into like a hotel room, I'm like, yeah, there's the window, we're gonna use that. But now I'm trying to look for more harsh light, different setup, like
Look interesting.
It looks different and interesting, because once you fall into the rut of doing the same thing and over again, you just kind of get bored.
Mhm.
And then you start looking safe, which is fine. You have to look safe, and people kind of want the safe stuff. But for yourself,
I take safe photos too. I just no one's
You
going
don't
to
show
see it
them.
but the client.
You don't show them. Yeah, I mean that's part of the reason why I burnt out around 8 years in. I was shooting the same stuff every single weekend, and as a creative, I was just burnt out. I was like, I want to feel fulfilled in my work, and I started doing some more personal work, shooting the way that I wanted to shoot, and I was sharing that, and that's what clients wanted. And I got my second wind. You know, it's very important to do that personal work. You know, how do you do a lot of personal work, Jason? I think you do.
So I do kind of two ongoing personal projects. So one is kind of like an ever-changing one. So I try and give myself a self-assignment once a year where I go out and I document something that I've never done before. So I've done like amateur motocross championships, Olympic qualifiers. I've done protests and different things like that. I try and give myself kind of one self-assignment to go do. And then I also document my family a lot throughout the year, but then I also do one every year where I document them every day for 50 straight days.
Wait,
I've seen some of those images that of your family, and they're awesome. Awesome photos.
Thank you. Yeah, it's one of my favorite things to do. If I could just get paid full time to just take pictures of my family, then,
it's like, who's gonna buy these photos?
My wife doesn't pay very well.
Yeah, you want to hear a funny OCF story? I think I've shared this with you guys before, right? So earlier on, I think year one, I was like, oh, I just have to put a trigger on my camera and just put the flash in the corner, and it should fire, right? Which it did. But the thing was, I didn't know anything about the settings and stuff. And also it was on optical slave mode. There was no way to turn it off. So for that particular wedding, there was also a photo booth in the room. So every time the photo booth went off, this thing would fire full power next to the table that was right under it. So like every like 30 seconds or so, this table would get full one over one power, just hitting their faces while they're trying to eat their salads, you know? And then throughout the night, I'm on the dance floor, like just firing this thing. Honestly, I don't even think it did anything. I think it was a daytime wedding too. There was no reason for it to be there.
And it was so far away. Yeah, you put it like at the end of the room.
But it was firing off full power, and you can hear it like pop, pop, pop. Right? That's how much power was coming out of those lights. I just felt so sorry for that couple or that family that was sitting underneath that light. But I don't do that anymore, guys. I don't do that anymore. But that's my OCF story.
So, Jason, do you still approach wedding day like the way you've had for all these years, or have you changed things up?
I still pretty much do it the same. Yeah. So for the majority of the day, I'm very hands off. I don't direct. I don't pose. And I'm just kind of authentically capturing moments, looking for interesting composition, interesting light. I will occasionally set up a light for moments if I have something in mind, but a lot of the times I'm just using the available light. And then just portrait time, then I will pose and direct and stuff, and I'm trying to create something interesting. I also do something I call portrait breakout sessions. Basically, it's just a fancy way of telling my couples, like, at any point during the day, I could pull you away for a quick portrait. That way, for me, like, one of the hardest things was like trying to force creativity into a 20-30 minute window when you have time for portraits. And there was a lot of time during the day where I was like, oh, I want to shoot, the sun is amazing and this composition's great, but it's like, oh, the bride's getting her dress on and portrait time's in 2 hours and it's not going to be here. And so it just gave me the the freedom and the ability to shoot when I wanted as far as portraits go. And also, like, nobody else is calling it portrait breakout sessions. So when people are reaching out and I'm talking to leads and I explain this process to them, they're like, oh, I like that. That sounds cool. No one else is talking about this. And so it just kind of gives me a little bit of a, a one up
I like it.
I do have another.
Yeah, go ahead. What time it is? It's portrait breakout session. Let's go.
WPPI, and I was like, it happens almost every wedding. Like, it could be after our designated portrait time, and there's a beautiful golden hour, and then we're like, shoot, we don't want to go grab them right now. They're like in the middle of cocktail hour. But if you set up that expectation in advance and like limit the portrait time earlier that's designated, got a couple of safe ones then, but then whatever you see, and it gives you the time to kind of like free roam. And when you see something, then you could just grab them, as opposed to trying to think on the spot during your designated portrait time, and you'd be like, it's waiting for you. Like, okay,
but let's go over here. We have trees. All right, let's go over here. There's more trees over here.
It also gives you visual variety, right? Because you're doing these little portrait sessions throughout the day at different locations and stuff. And so when they get their portrait gallery, that it reflects in the visuals of that. Whereas if you just do portraits during a 15-20 minute window, like, you can get a little bit of differences by shooting in like a little bit of different areas using off-camera flash and stuff like that. But they're all going to kind of look the same. They're all in the same similar location, the similar lighting and stuff like that. And so it just gives your clients a lot more visual variety. And like, honestly, depending on how you share your work and stuff and the way that you talk about it, like whenever I go and be like, hey, I have an idea for a portrait or whatever, they're like, it's time. He sees something. Let's go. Like they're excited about it.
Yeah. So how long are those breakouts? Like a few minutes? Because you kind of seen it, visualized it, like, all right, I know what I'm going to do, and then grab them.
Yeah, it's tops 5 minutes. And so even if it's like a off-camera flash type setup, I'll get it 90% of the way set up before I even tell them I have an idea.
Yeah. I do have a question about process, though, right? I've talked to a lot of photographers who claim to be photo documentarians, right? They shoot mostly candidates and stuff, but the reality is actually sometimes there's a little bit of guidance. It's very intentional. There's some micro adjustments as they're doing the photo documentary stuff. I mean, I don't even know if that's an oxymoron, right? If it's actual photo documentary, you shouldn't be guiding it, right? But at the same time, maybe, I don't know, there's clutter on the bed, or I don't know, there's somebody, well, if someone's picking their nose in the back, that's actually kind of cool. But like, let's say, I don't know, there's something undesirable in the frame. I mean, I guess you can move around till it's not there, right? But maybe the lighting is perfect going with this direction and not that direction. So like, is there, I mean, what's your process in dealing with that?
So the way I do documentary is I don't stick 100% strictly to like the rules of like photojournalistic ethics or whatever, as far as like altering the scene. So I'm never going to pose and direct my couple, but if there's a water bottle in the way, like I'm fine removing the water bottle. If I need to turn a light on or off, I'm fine with doing that. Because for me, it's more about when the couple looks at the photo, I want them to remember what it felt like in that moment and not remember me telling them what to do in order to get that photo. And so I'm never going to have them be like, hey, just real quick, chin up, or hey, can you just do that, but just do it facing the other direction? Because at that point, I'm inserting myself. Me turning on a light or moving a water bottle or doing something like that isn't going to pull them out of a moment and make them be like, oh, he's taking my photo. And so now I need to kind of like act, right? Another thing is that like, I'm never going to, again, pose and direct people, but if someone's going to get, like if the bride's going to get their dress on, I might tell them where would be a good space to get their dress on, right? Same thing with like first dance. Like if I have like my lighting set up, be like, hey, for your first dance, are you going to do like some elaborate first dance, or are you just going to like turn in place? 90% of the people are just turning in place, but like, perfect. When you do that, just do it right here in the middle of the dance floor, because that's how I have my lighting set up, right? They're going to do what they normally do. They just know to go stand in that space.
So there is some light direction going on. I mean, they had to go through that moment anyway, but now you just, I don't know. Whatever you're going to do, just do it here.
It's not, I'm not like telling them I'm not telling them how to turn or what to do. Right. They're going to do that anyways. I'm just telling them where to go do it. Or like same thing with like first looks, which I think is kind of like a weird part of a wedding to do a first look. But if they're going to do it, fine. And so I'll give them like where to do it. Like they're already going to do it. So I might as well have them go do it in an area that is, a little bit more photogenic.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to be like, okay, now walk up, tap them on the shoulder, turned around, give me the big wow. Okay, can you turn back around? Let me do one more for video. Like,
You get a lot of pajama shots in your working days? You get a lot of pajama shots?
pajamas.
Yeah, pajamas on the bed, pop into champagnes.
Yeah.
No?
No.
Oh, you do? You don't? You don't get that?
Like so again, if they ask for it, I'm always going to say yes, but I'm not going to have them do it. So like one of the big things that used to be a big thing like back in the day was the groomsmen jumping, right? And everybody wanted like that. For some reason that was a thing for like 5 years.
Yeah.
And so I would have groomsmen come up like when I was first getting started, be like, hey, I want to do the jumping shot. And be like, oh, all right. Gather up all the groomsmen and the groom and stuff, like, all right, 1, 2, 3, and then you get the jumping shot or whatever. And then eventually I figured, I forgot where I learned this trick from. I can't remember who it was. But now when people have an idea that I don't want to do, I'll just be like, if you set it up, I'll take it.
Yes, that's my answer.
They're like, the groomsman's not like, he doesn't want to do it either. Like he just wants to like walk up and jump and like be like, oh, that'd be funny. Like if you want to do it, like go, if you go gather everybody and set them up, I'll take it.
That's the best, because then everyone starts to look at that person, and they just like, the spotlight is on this person, and they just like, oh, it's all right, it's all right.
Yeah.
Or when the bridesmaids are like, can we do something funny? And I'm like, I don't know what you consider funny, so just set something up. And then they're like,
yeah, do it. Do something funny. That'd be cool. Yeah.
And then they're like, I don't know what's funny. I'm like, well, neither do I.
Like there was one time I was second shooting, and we were at a park, and this groomsman goes, hey man, I have this awesome idea. And I was like, oh man, let's hear it. And he goes, let's all take our jackets off and hang it up in the tree, and we'll be standing next to it. And I was like, awesome. I was like, so tell everybody to do it. He tells all the groomsmen, and they just looked at him like, I'm not doing
like,
that shit. Yeah, they was like, how does that make sense? How did the jackets get there?
Yeah, so but if you had asked them, they would have been like, oh, photographers having us do this. It must be like a cool idea. And they would have done it, and no one would have loved it.
Yeah.
They would have been all annoyed by it, and you would have looked like an idiot because this groomsman decided that he wanted this, like, oh, this would have been funny.
Yeah. So that's my other question for you, because, well, you've kind of answered what you do with, like, the wedding party, because we do try to be majority of the day more documentary, but then when it comes to, like, family, okay, standard posy, smile at the camera, you don't have to do anything crazy with them, but wedding party, again, is just like, we just know smiling at the camera. And then maybe, like, change it up a little bit where they're fake laughing at each other, but...
Yeah, I just do the simple, I don't do anything crazy. Every once in a while, like if there's a cool lighting setup, I'll do something interesting with the light, or I'll post people in like different areas of the frame. But a lot of the times it's like, you have literally 5 minutes to get all of the bridal party together. And so it's like, I do this like line up, everybody smile, laugh at each other, give each other a hard time, walk towards me, done.
Exactly. Perfect. It's exactly what we do. And I always feel like,
I feel guilty sometimes, but like, you know what? If the couple really wants variation, they tell you, and it's happened to us. They'd be like, can we do something more serious? All right, cool, whatever. Yeah. If they want those other images, they usually ask. So.
Yeah.
But we also tell them like, that's all we're gonna do with the wedding party, and we kind of tell them like, you want the wedding party to enjoy the day. You don't want to keep them there for half hour taking all these photos.
Yeah, like the people that do the Vanity Fair like composite lighting and stuff like that, like. That's a vibe. There's couples that want it. It's not something that I enjoy doing, so I'm not going to be the one that suggests it and does it. But if I've had a couple, it was a while back, it was actually before the composite lighting was like a big thing. I had a couple that wanted to do they called it the first supper. So it was like them posed like the Last Supper, but they called it the first supper. And so like I did a composite lighting for that back before it was like super cool. And literally, I think that might be the only time I've ever done it. But again, it was because the couple wanted an image like this. And so I was like, oh, if I'm going to do it, I want to do it really cool and have this like, kind of like Rembrandt lighting type of thing. And so,
love it.
You could be shooting that for like 30 minutes, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those can take a while, especially like if the people move, or I've had it, when I was doing that, like, thankfully I caught it when I lit the first person. Someone had like after the first two people, someone kicked the tripod a little bit, and so it moved. And so I had to like, all right, back set up, restart, and be like, do not let anybody even get near this tripod. Like, it's easier now with the tools that we have, but back in the day, it was like it was a thing. It was a hassle.
It was that, or like if you're close to a wall, like the lights spilling and then you cleaning that up. It was just a nightmare.
Out of all the clients that you take on year to year, right? Like how many of them would you say are like your ideal clients? They just have you do whatever you do. It's just carte blanche. You do whatever you want to do. And how many are like, they give you a shot list that's like 1,000,000 miles long. And then basically you're taking that client because, you just like the rest of us, we have bills to pay, right? So
Yeah.
do you find that you're getting mostly ideal clients or all ideal clients? What's the mix look like?
I would say all ideal clients at this point.
The reason why I'm asking this is like, how do you get to that point where you get clients that want you for you? You're not just a hired gun.
I think it's because I'm pretty picky about the images that I post and share, and I'm really only posting the stuff that I love, that I enjoy shooting. And so when people look at my work, they look at my, Instagram and behind the scenes and stuff like that. Like they're only seeing the stuff that I'm excited about. And so they don't know anything else. And like I still get couples that they're like, do you need a shot list? I'm like, nope, I don't need anything. Like if you want to send me, I tell them when people ask if they can send me a shot list or anything like that, I say, I don't need a shot list. The only thing I need is if there are, specific elements that are important to you that I wouldn't necessarily know about. Like I've had where, the groom had a special embroidery on the inside of his jacket that was like his father's signature who had passed away. Like, I don't know that's going to be in there. So that's something that I need to know. Or you're going to do some weird, interesting candle ceremony thing during the ceremony or whatever that's maybe a little bit different. Like those are the kinds of things I need to know, but I don't need you to be like, take the image from over here and then over here. Like I just need like a timeline of your day and then like key details that maybe aren't standard details.
I think that takes time to kind of, the longer you're in the industry, to kind of like set your expectations and your standards, and clients to gravitate towards that. Because I think when we all started out, you want to do
that's not how I started. Yeah, no,
yeah.
I even had like back in the day, I used to ask people for the Pinterest board, be like, I'm going to give you exactly what you want, and it was miserable. And so I quickly realized that like, nope, this is not something that I want to do. And then especially like on the day, like you're going through the list and you're like, oh shit, I forgot to get the one of her looking back at me. You're like, I'm she's not going to remember that she put that on her board. Like it's
you
like,
go up to them during.
If you want a picture of me, if you want a picture of you looking back at me, like look back at me. Why are you looking at me? Like,
I love that sometimes we'll take like it happens like once a year. They'll send me like 5 photos that they love, they want to recreate, whatever, fine. And then when I go to do it on the day of, I'm like, oh, let's go do this XYZ photo that you sent me. And they're like, I don't remember that photo. And I'm like,
oh no,
all right, it's this one that you were asking for. They were like,
yeah.
I'm like, all right, so it wasn't really that important. And
Like I sent you that list after I had 3 beers and I was laying in bed, like
scrolling on Instagram. You know what? A lot of photographers let that kind of cloud their perspective sometimes too, because like sometimes like we'll get like a few photos of inspiration, right? And their wedding is like in a ballroom, and they're sending me a couple in a mountaintop with the sunset, and I'm just like, this is like nothing of what their weddings and right. And then Jen goes, it's the pose. Yeah, it looks like they probably like the pose, and that's what they want. I'm like, all right, cool. So sometimes we overthink these things too when they send us these like inspiration images, and we start to stress ourselves out. And in reality, like just gotta, sometimes they won't remember, or just it's just as simple as just doing the pose and just keeping it moving.
Yep.
Yeah. We all got to get more clients like Jason's clients and Karis's clients. They don't, it's not like they don't care. It's just like, just do whatever you want, right? Karis, now you don't get a lot of shot lists, right?
No.
They don't want.
You're going to have to turn down, babe. You got to have to turn down your energy a little bit. You're a little bit too much.
I'm like so groggy.
Settle down now, okay? Settle down.
Allergy medicine? I'm so groggy right now. I'm like, is it allergy medicine? But yeah, I don't really get shot lists.
Yeah, we get them like maybe once a year, and it's just like 2 photos. That they
it's just like something like at the venue, that an image they saw that they love, and that's about it. But for the most part, it's always me second guessing myself of feeling like I don't have enough like portraits, and every time I feel that way, it's always enough. Like they just want us to just document them having a good time. Like
That's a good question for you, Jason. On a wedding day, how many portraits of the couple do you deliver, or like on average?
Just like portraits,
Yeah, just the two
or
of
just
them.
like wedding as a whole.
No, just the
No,
couple.
they meant like portrait time, the special portrait.
Just
like
photos of the couple alone.
pose photos.
Oh, 100.
And how much time are you spending with them to get this, like, overall from a wedding day?
So usually, 15 to 30 minutes for a portrait time. And then maybe 1 to 3 portrait breakout sessions.
A little less than an hour then.
Yeah.
But then like a portrait breakout session, maybe I'll spend 5 minutes, but I'll get, 15 to 30 deliverable images out of the 5 minutes that are all like a decent variation.
Yeah. Are you working with an assistant or a second shooter?
I'll work with a second shooter every once in a while, but they're strictly second shooters. I don't have an assistant. Like, even when my second photographer's there, like, they're not moving lights for me or helping pose or direct or anything like that. When I hire a second photographer, I hire my second photographers based on their ability to capture details, because I hate doing details. And so like they show up
flat lays. You look like a flat lay kind of guy.
Yeah, flat lays, flowers, table settings, like all that stuff. I tell them, I literally say, shoot this wedding like I'm not going to take a single detail, and they're like, okay, got it. And I won't take a single detail.
Yeah, I've second shot for people like that, where my job was get all the details throughout the whole day, and it frees you up to focus more on the couple and the moments and documenting the wedding itself, opposed to like spending 20 minutes shooting the cake, shooting all this stuff. Like, it's stuff that obviously is expected of you, but that's a good way to approach it so that you have more freedom.
Yeah, and most of the time, like, the detail images are the easy images. I also find that, like, when I do album designs with my couples, detail images are the first images that get cut from the album.
They're not as important. I think when we all started in 10, 15 years ago, the biggest emphasis was on like details, flat lay.
The ring shots. Remember the ring shots?
Oh yeah.
The hanging the dress shot from a tree.
I used to do the ring. I used to spend 30 minutes with the ring, man. Just like mirrors and
like balancing them.
At a blowtorch, like
all the
put in like a
kit bag of like trinkets of things.
Yeah, you had all the trinkets and stuff like that, and the little flashlights. and then
LEDs in the
album, and you're like, why did I spend so much time on this? You think it's the coolest thing ever, and now I look back and I'm like, yeah, these are cool, but like nobody's printing a 20 by 40 print for their wall of their rings.
Now
and that's why I asked you about yield of portraits, because I think, again, also when you start out and you go along, you feel like portraits are the most important part of the wedding day, and if you don't deliver like hundreds of photos of them alone that are incredible, you feel like you failed at your job. But then realistically, they only are really in love with like maybe 20 of the ones from the day, and those are the ones that go on the album or get hung in their home. What's really important to them, and I think for us, is how we shoot now, is it's more of the rest of the day that's important, all the different moments and the candid parts of the day. So I think it's something that we've struggled with over time, especially you, like, oh, I didn't get enough amazing portraits. And I'm like, they're going to love them regardless. They just want their story told.
Part of that is timing too. Like when that portrait time is allotted, the light, in most cases, the light is pretty harsh sometimes. So it's like, you try to get the safe stuff, you try to get the creative stuff, and then sometimes you feel like when it's all said and done, you walk away like, damn, I don't know if I have enough safe stuff, or maybe I don't have enough creative stuff. So it's finding that balance. I feel like
portrait time is usually when I get all of the safe stuff. I'll get a creative thing here and there sprinkled in, but like that's the time for the safe stuff, and then the little breakout sessions is the time to get creative, especially like with doing off-camera flash work and stuff. If you have 15 to 30 minutes for portrait time and you spend 10 to 15 of that setting up lights and like posing for one image, like it's kind of a waste of your time. Like you can get a lot more variety within that set time frame. Like I can set up a flash pretty quick, and so like during portrait time I might do like 1 or 2 off-camera flash setups, but for the most part it's just kind of like finding interesting light or little compositions or little pockets of shade and stuff like that.
Yeah. For me, it's more about variety too. Like if I can get more of a variety, that supersedes, trying to just nail one really, really, really good photo. I'm sure the photo's really amazing, but I'd rather have variety. And back to your what you guys were talking about earlier about, the details not, they're still important. Anything they spent time, effort, or money on, I mean, it's obviously important to them, right? But now that we've been doing a lot of our album designs in-house now, like what we're finding now is that, because we never, what'd you call it, micromanage the designs or anything like that. We the clients, they put their orders in and then they get whatever they get. We didn't know what was actually being selected, right? But now that we're doing a lot of the designs in-house, a lot of the detail shots are not being picked. Those are the first to go. What they really are looking for are those moments, because that's what they want to remember 20, 30 years from now, not how awesome you stack the rings on a mirror.
I have a conspiracy theory that I just developed right this second, that the reason why people think details are so important is some sort of like wedding planner mafia, like putting it out there so that you have to hire wedding planners for all these amazing details. And the only people that want detailed images are the wedding planners and vendors. The couples are like, whatever, we don't want those.
Yeah.
So they're so important, so you have to take them and you do a really good job. And the only people that use them are the vendors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I will say though, there are like 2 photographers that I know in our immediate circle. They get 2 spreads of details, right? Like 1 or 2, like, yeah. So I guess it's highly dependent on the kind of clients that you're hiring.
Expectation. Yeah, what you put out is what they come seeking. Like my couples usually come into like my meeting telling me, I don't even want to be posed. Like, I don't want to be pulled away from my party. Like, I want to enjoy. I want to relax. I want to have fun. I want to attend cocktail. I want to talk to people, not being pulled away and, and forced to, go here, pose here, stand there, go over there. Go. So that's why I think majority of my couples, don't really have shot lists, because they want just day to flow like organically. And, I'm just there to capture.
Yeah. You don't even know that Karis is at the wedding, She's just...
you don't.
We had a photographer? Did we hire a photographer for this wedding? She's around somewhere.
That's the one thing that we realized over the years. Like, I would say maybe 8 years ago, if we met with a couple and they told us that they were not doing a first look, that was a red flag. That's just like, that's going to be stressful. Or when are we going to get portraits of them and portraits of the wedding party? Now, if somebody tells us that, we're like, all right, cool. As long as we lay out the expectations.
Oh yeah.
And that allows us to just document the day, like not focused on portraits, not focused on pulling them away. I feel like like I said, as time goes, we learn to just like kind of accept that people just, want to enjoy the day and not make a photo shoot out of it.
It's their day. Yep, they have to enjoy it. It's yeah.
It was funny. We met with a couple the other day. They're getting married like a month, which is like another story about people booking last minute. But were meeting with a photographer that was charging them like $12K, and they were telling the photographer, "Oh, we want to go to like from the church to this park. It's like a little park. There's nothing much around the way." They're an older couple, almost 40. They're like, we don't like portraits are not a huge emphasis for them. They said he got so nasty with them about like, you don't want to go to that park. Like that park is like, like we don't want to do that. Yeah. Like they walked away so sour from it because the expectations that he was setting were so much about him and what he wanted to do and like how he wanted to handle their day. And they were like, you know what? And on top of that, you're charging me X amount, and I feel like I'm not being listened to and heard. So they didn't wind up booking him. So
yeah, that was crazy.
I mean, we looked at the park. It's okay, but like, you make it work. It's whatever they
like. It is what it is. You want to go to the park? We'll go to the park. You want the fountain? Yeah. I'm not going to show it, but I'll take a picture.
You want a jumping? You want a jumping shot? I'll take it. All right, but I'm not going to show it. You set it up. I'm still not going to show it.
I'll take it. It's like the whole wedding. You set the wedding up. I'll take it.
Yeah. So let's change gears just a little bit, because I feel like, especially in the last year or so, a lot of the workshops, classes, and conferences that I've attended, AI has been a large part of that conversation, right? And I think, Jason, you covered a little bit of AI in the 2 classes that I saw, right? So why don't we talk about that for a little bit? Like, what are your feelings on AI and how it I guess, affects what we do as photographers?
I think it's going to affect the industry for as far as like the barrier to entry, right? So like me, like I cut my teeth on obviously weddings that are people are paying $500. Like the people that are paying $500 to have their wedding photographed, like they're just going to use AI. Or like same thing with like portraits and headshots. Like if people aren't going to pay very much for it, like they're just going to use AI for stuff like that. But the people that have the budget and that they want like good and solid work, I think those people are still always going to pay for it, especially when it comes to weddings, because it's a little bit harder to have obviously AI do like an authentic moment or capture like a documentary moment and stuff like that. Where I've found the best uses for AI is obviously things like, you know, AI editing. I use AI editing, but the funny thing is that like the majority of people that I know that use AI editing, they use it to spend less time editing. And I still spend the same amount of time editing, just my end deliverables are now much more polished and I can spend more time fine tuning images to make like the whole gallery better. Whereas I used to only spend a good amount of time on like a key select set of images. And so it just makes it so I can fine tune more images better. And then I obviously use AI to help me with, you know, things like social media posts, coming up with good hooks. Where I think people can get in trouble is if you're letting AI be your voice and not just using it for like to help brainstorm and to help like guide you through creating something, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think
that's like an overarching of like all things AI within the space. We can dive into specifics if you want.
Well, we've already been recording for a little north of an hour, close to an hour and a half now. So I don't know if we can go to a full workshop on AI. However, but I agree with you 100%. You know, the AI is just a tool. Just like a preset is a tool, you know, it's not the thing that's going to get you to 100%. It's to kind of help make your job a little bit easier, but it's not supposed to be the final product. You still have to put a little bit of the human in it. And that's the thing that makes your product special. You know, I use AI all the time to come up with ideas. I also use AI in my post-production, but like AI it's very useful to kind of speed up the ideation process. Mm-hmm. I think some people, they try to use it as a shortcut. Like I think there was a venue in our marketplace, right? They used AI to come up with their captions, and these idiots, they left the prompt in the caption.
That was so funny.
Oh my gosh. I was like, wait, this is the prompt, right? And you see the prompt, I was like, you kind of suck at prompting too, dude. Whoever's in charge of your marketing department, they need to take a prompting class too, you know. But it's giving people an excuse to be lazy, I feel like, and that's not good. I don't like that.
Name drop your main tools for what you're doing.
So Imagine for both photo and video, and then I used Gemini for like text-based stuff.
And it's helping you with like your marketing ideas and stuff, you said?
Yeah, so I'll use Gemini for like website audits, SEO, keyword research. I'll use it for I've started this like series of image carousels on Instagram that are kind of like I have a pattern disruptor kind of hook that starts it, and I kind of go down a little bit of a story with the Instagram reels. And so like I'll have an initial idea for it, and I usually start with my hook, and I'll give it to Gemini, and I'll be like, give me descriptions, make sure to mention this, and so it'll kind of line out what the post will be like, and then I'll fine tune all of the individual ones from there. But it helps me get it formatted to where it flows, because I don't want the text to be so long or too short, and so it helps me make sure that like my big overarching idea fits within certain elements. Also make sure to have it say like make as many of the little text blocks shareable, and so it makes sure that like certain elements, and then that way like whenever people are going through the carousel, I don't want just like the hook to be shareable. I want like every individual slide to be shareable depending on how it resonates with you. And so like on some of these posts, like it's crazy to see some people share like literally every single slide from the post within their stories. Some people will just pick one. You'll always see like a handful of slides that resonate with the most people, but inevitably every single one of these slides will get shared at some point by just like an individual.
That's really smart. Karis did something recently like that, you know, where you just featured a whole bunch of different venues, and you're just talking about certain things, and each image had its own little caption, and you know, just gave you a little more audience.
You know, Instagram now is no longer photos, so like the text thing is super important to like show more of your your knowledge and your education for people to like be more hooked into what you're sharing.
Because
So
no one's reading the caption. No one's really diving into captions as much.
The text and the photos.
Before it was like, oh my gosh, show photos and then do videos. Now it's like, you need to do text. What's next?
I will say though, the captions are still important. You guys got to make sure that your keywords are in the captions.
No, I understand it, but what I'm saying is like what Jason was just saying. Like if someone's going to share like one slide, there's a message there that everyone can read right away instead of going to the post and reading the whole caption. And the longer it is, I'm not reading it. That's just the way my mind works. Just the same thing that you did for your April Fool's joke, Ben. I read 2 sentences and I threw in the towel after that because it's just too long. And if you make it too long,
you have to read the whole thing. You got to commit to it. You got to commit to it. It's a really good.
You lose me after 10 seconds.
It's really good.
Jason, that you adapted to it, because there's a lot of people now who don't adapt to the game of Instagram, and it is a game now. It is a strategy. People just
social media has always been a game. It's always been evolving. It's always changing. Would I love to go back to the days where I could just like post one photo and it goes to literally all of my followers and I have like 1,000 likes within the first hour of it being up? Yeah, that'd be awesome. But that's not how it works anymore.
And you're willing to like go with the change and they adapt to it, which is good because some people are stuck in their ways and then don't realize why their strategy is no longer working. But
yeah, people think that if they dig their feet in, Instagram is going to change back to how it is. Be like, oh, we lost Betty Sue. We got to go back. We want Betty Sue to start posting again. It's like, nope, they don't care at all. Like,
what now we're talking about AI and stuff. One of the things that I've been seeing too is like there's a small circle of people that are anti-AI, right? And there's couples out there too that are anti-AI because they think that their images are being, uploaded into this database where like they can do whatever they want with the images. So I'm seeing photographers like advertise themselves as like your images are like human edited, right? And it's like a selling point, which to me is crazy. It's crazy. You know what? That's fine. You're going to be the photographer that's still taking 16 weeks to deliver your images, while the rest of us who embrace AI will be doing stuff way quicker. But how do you feel about that like the people that are like anti AI in the industry?
They're just going to get left behind. I mean, that's just them. There might be one person that like solidifies themselves as like the go-to non-AI person, and they'll have a handful of people that resonate with that. It's kind of like, it's like any little niche of wedding photography. Like you have the people that like the dramatic, the light and airy. You have the people that care about, certain types of moments and things like that. You'll find your crowd. How big that crowd is, I don't know. But for me, like, even though I use AI for editing, like I still look at every single photo after the fact. I'm still fine tuning. I'm still tweaking. I'm still polishing. Like we mentioned before, like AI is just getting me to a point quicker where I can spend more. Now I can spend more time on that photo to make it better. Whereas before I couldn't dedicate that much time to a full gallery. Whereas now I have more time because AI's gotten me through the grunt work essentially. Where now I can put my artistic voice into more images.
Is your artistic voice in the AI music that you're producing now too?
Yeah. Yes, it is. Yeah.
Did you guys know the music? His songs on his things. It's AI.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell us more about it, Jason. Tell us more about it, Jason.
Okay, so for me, music has always been a big element of slideshows. And so like all of my stuff that I do, especially with like my family documentary work, weddings and stuff like that, like I always want my music to have lyrics because it just pulls you deeper into the story. And I want those lyrics to be meaningful for the story that I'm trying to tell. And so the hardest part for me is I've literally spent hours and hours looking for the perfect song. And it got to the point now there's new AI music generators where I can actually custom create my own songs. And so the first time I did it was for a family documentary session. I just recently posted a video. If you go to my Facebook page, it's one of the more recent ones of a slideshow. It got like 5 likes because videos do terrible. But I made a custom song for a family vacation that we just recently took. But I based the lyrics based on like real conversations that we've had or like real feelings and stuff like that. And so they're a lot more meaningful. And so one of the family documentary sessions that I recently did it was for a mom and dad, and they had 2 boys, and we had talked about them being like wild and crazy kids, and like but also like how sweet and amazing they were, and like they're growing up together and all of this different stuff, and like how these moments are fleeting and stuff. And so I took real conversations that I had with the family and with mom and dad and stuff, and I created a custom song to go with the images. And so when I showed them the song, literally the 2 boys and the 2 parents wept. The mom told me that it's going to be the song that she dances to with each son as the mother-son dance at their wedding. And like a week later, she sent me a video of her son doing homework at his desk with his headphones on, and he's just like singing the song out loud as he's like doing his homework and stuff. And it took me 20 minutes.
That's 19 minutes. That's 19 minutes too long, Jason.
I had an idea for the concept. I put it into Gemini, and I said, "Hey, write me some lyrics for like a folky acoustic song." And I lined out all of the details that I want. I put like if I have a lyric that I want to be like specific, I'll put it in parentheses to make sure that it's like that uses like those exact words. And so the song is called Wild Boys. And I have like key phrases that I was like, make sure that you use this lyric somewhere in the chorus and stuff like that. And so it builds out the lyrics. And then I use a software called Suno, Suno. And I put the lyrics in, describe the song, and it cranks out a song. And it's like anything AI where you do little iterations and like change the lyrics or make sure that it's like, oh, I want it to be a male singer or a female singer or more this type of song, and you get a custom song, and then I just put that on as the slideshow.
Yeah.
All right, the Focus podcast gonna have a new intro soon.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, I've used it for Instagram Reels as well. So like, I recently did one of the Instagram Reels that did really well. It got like, I don't know, maybe 500,000 views or something like that. But this is a more AI video, but I used AI to create a like a 60 minutes type interview video of like a professor looking guy. And I told him to say, it's scientific proof that photographers that use off-camera flash create the most epic images. And it's easily proven. And then I cut to a bunch of like my off-camera flash images and show like before and afters and stuff like that. And I couldn't find a song that tied in the little video with my images that I could like cut to. And so I used AI to create a song. So the professor guy ends on, this is easily proven. And so I created a song called This is Easily Proven, but Not Easily Done. And I have it like with an epic beat drop, and I put like the beats per minute so I could cut to the song and stuff. And so it goes to him and it goes, easily proven, bomb, 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 not easily done, bomb, bomb, bomb. And it like cuts to all the music behind the scenes clips and stuff like that. Yeah.
I think Ben would like to make a version of this video, but with cheese cubes at cocktail hour.
I don't think Jason knows the story. I got in trouble about
but it sounds funny.
Yeah, I got in trouble because I didn't photograph the cheese cubes, you know. So
I have heard that. I have heard that story.
Yeah, so I think the whole world has heard the story at this point, right? But what was that? How are you editing are you editing it in app? These videos, you get the music, you get the images and the assets and stuff. Like, are you also using AI to create these videos? Or are you using?
No, so it depends on what the video is. So if it's like a standard slideshow, that just like go into the music, I just use Lightroom. I just throw the song into Lightroom, and it puts the video or puts the slideshow images to the song.
Wait, Lightroom does video?
Yeah, it has a slideshow feature,
and it does video as well.
Yeah,
like very basic video.
All right, well, carry on. I'm learning something new today. Okay, carry on.
And then if I want to cut to the beat of it, then I'll use Premiere Pro. If it's like a full video, or if it's an Instagram reel, then I use edits, and I just hand cut everything. Instagram edits app.
Love it.
Yeah, I don't know any. That's not my world. I don't know, but I don't.
Step aside.
Instagram has their
Why do you even bother asking?
It's basically it's like an editor where you can like put in videos and images, and you can like add songs, and you can cut images, and you can put transitions and stuff like that. And Instagram likes it when you use their tools. And so like when you edit in the edits app and you send it over to Instagram, you get a little special tag that says made in edits, and you get supposedly you get a little bit of a SEO or a little algorithm boost because you're using their tools and stuff like that.
Yeah.
By the way, PickTime beat match is pretty good. If you use the slideshow feature, you upload your song, and it does a really good job at beat matching for the images.
Okay.
Are you allowed to use like you? Well, we're all using AI music now at this point, right? After listening to this episode, but like, were you allowed to use commercial songs previously on PickTime with the PickTime galleries? I don't think so. Right?
Yeah. So I uploaded a song. I never published it anywhere. I just wanted to test the feature. And I downloaded a song, got the MP3. It was a commercial song, famous artist. I uploaded it with no problem, and it beat matched it. So they do have stock music that you can use. I think that they have a couple of songs, but yeah, you can upload whatever you want on there.
Yeah, you just can't use it to make money off of it. It's just living in your PickTime.
Yeah, I just don't put your logo on it.
You got some Soldier Boy in there, right?
Share it to Facebook or whatever.
Right.
If they're just looking at it in the gallery, it's kind of personal use at that point.
For personal use, it's okay as long as you don't put it on your website and start advertising the slideshow and stuff like that. But yeah, you could just use any MP3 you have, which is pretty cool.
All right. I think this will be the last question. Let's say you're doing all these workshops. Everyone eventually starts. Well, it's going to be very hard for them to see exactly the way that you see, right? But now you get some folks who are getting pretty damn close to it. They're studying you left and right. So now you got I don't know, hundreds, if not thousands, of little Jason Vinson derivatives out there producing a similar kind of work for cheaper or whatever. So what would you do to kind of stay ahead if you found yourself in that situation where now you're the trend? People are producing work that's similar to you.
The same thing I'm doing now is just never stop learning and never stop trying new things. Like, people have been copying my work for years and years already. I don't think that's ever going to stop or go away, but I'm never going to be, I guess, at a point where I feel like I could just do my thing and never keep learning, right? I'm always learning something new, trying something different, playing with new gear, pushing myself to new limits. And so I feel like you can do, if you learn from me, you're learning the process, but the goal with workshops and stuff isn't to shoot like me. It's to take the things that I do that you like and implement them into your own work with the other things that you've learned from yourself and from other people and stuff like that. And hopefully I can give you a jump start into the world of, paying more attention to authentic moments and using off-camera flash and paying attention to compositions and stuff like that. But the goal is never to create a bunch of mini me's, and I don't think anybody's going to make it very far if they just be.
Yeah.
I'm not that cool.
Good answer.
Yeah. But you'll always be the original.
You should definitely AI an image of yourself with a bunch of a bunch of mini Jasons with camera.
Like little bobbleheads, with Jason. But everyone wants the original. There's always going to be one. There's only ever going to be one Jason Vinson. Everyone wants the Coca-Cola. Then nobody wants the RC Cola. No shade to RC Cola, but no shade on you if you enjoy RC Cola. But you want the original. Everyone wants the original. Is there anything that you like to promote now, Jason? Anything that you're working on right now that you like to share with our audience?
Some more stuff from me. Like, Instagram's always a great place if you want a little bit more of a premium into the stuff that I do. I have a Patreon where I walk through image deconstructions and edit walkthroughs and how-tos and lighting setups and all that fun stuff. Always a great place. And then that's always a good Instagram, and Patreon is always a great place to keep an eye out for future upcoming in-person workshops and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Are you on YouTube too?
Yeah, I'm on YouTube, up and coming. Got 20 subscribers. I have a little bit more than that. But it's not a big YouTube for sure, but it's definitely something that I've been slowly putting more and more effort into.
Yeah, you're going to get a new subscriber when this airs. It's going to be Consuelo. She's going to be your newest subscriber.
Mom.
That's Rolando's mom, Consuelo. She's gonna like do all your stuff. Yeah.
like, comment, sub.
Smash that subscribe button. All right. So, Jason, how can folks find you? Yeah, let's drop all those tags again. How can people find you?
Just search my name, Jason Vinson, or Vincent Images _ Jason. Pretty much use that everywhere.
All right. You guys made your piece. You guys have any other questions to ask our guest?
No, this was very informative. We learned a lot. I will say, at the workshop where we met you, the editing process where you showed what you shot and showed how you like polished the images is like one of the most informative editing things that I've seen. Like the way you were like filling in leaves and stuff. Like I would have never thought of doing that. So I can't even imagine how even more educational your Patreon is.
Yeah,
smash that subscribe button, guys.
My editing has evolved greatly since then.
Awesome.
It sounds like Ro's gonna sign up to a new Patreon.
Yep.
You got Consuelo, and Rolando. Signing off. Yeah, the whole family. Well, Jason, we can't thank you enough for hanging out with us today.
Thank you.
We appreciate
absolutely
you.
My pleasure. It was a good excuse just to hang out with you all.
Yeah. Now I'll know. I'll remember this day.
Maybe you'll remember this one.
Yeah, maybe I'll remember this one. All right, guys.
You definitely put our cameras to shame because you look like you're in an episode of Soft White Underbelly.
Yep.
So for more behind the scenes highlights and bloopers, you guys can find us on Instagram at focus.af. Website's also working. You can check us out at focused-af.com. And how can they find us on YouTube, Ro, where you can join our other 20 subscribers?
The Focus AF podcast on YouTube.
And also, I think people don't know about this, but we actually have a Facebook group. You can also just look for us on Facebook. Yep. Yeah, just join it because that's where we do all the announcements for all our meetups and stuff. I don't know. I don't know if this will actually air by the time we have our next meetup because Jen, she's doing our talk on social media and client. What's it? Client care services or something like that. Yeah. So she's going to be talking about that for about an hour, and then that's going to start at 3:00. Yeah, it's going to be starting at 3, and then 4:00 the drinking commences, which is my favorite part. Yes. Yeah. So it's going to be awesome. And I have a karaoke mic just for you. I have a karaoke mic. And,
thank you.
Yes. So
listen, we're not turning it into singing karaoke at some point, okay?
It'll happen.
It may.
Someone's using it.
And also, if you guys would like to nominate a guest to be on our show, by the way, you can't nominate yourself because that's kind of lame-os, right? But if you'd like to nominate someone to be a guest, you can send that over to us at hello@focused-af.com. So on that note, are you guys focused AF?
Yes.
I'm hot AF, man. I'm sweating here. Holy shit.
Yeah, hot AF. All right. Anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for joining us today, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Adios.
Bye.
See you guys.
Focused AF is a fun, business-focused podcast for wedding creatives.
Co-hosted by award-winning husband and wife wedding photography teams, Ben and Karis.
And Jen and Ro, where we help fellow wedding creatives with their sales and marketing.
With laid-back conversations and real talk with some of our most favorite people in the universe.
And with that being said, are you Focused AF?
I am Focused AF today.
We are Focused AF.
I think I might be Focused AF.
Welcome to the Focused AF podcast.